Hey guys, autobotjohn here, and I just wanted to give um, my thoughts on a subject that I was reading about. So I've been reading online, and I've seen some videos on YouTube where a lot of people are saying that Warner Brothers um, that they've struck out with the DC extended universe. That the Suicide Squad was not really all that good. Excuse the hair. I just got home from work. That Batman v Superman was not good. That the Man of Steel was not good. Justice. Some people are saying that the Justice League doesn't look like it's going to be good, and that Wonder Woman is probably going to be okay. Um, my personal opinion on these subjects is I don't think that DC has really gotten a fair shot. Um, and I'm not being biased because I like both Marvel and DC. Of course, my favorite superhero is Superman, and that will never change. And yes, will I be a little biased toward him? Oh, absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't? If you're a Spider-Man fan and that's your favorite superhero, you're biased toward him. You can sit there and lie about it all you want, but in the end, you're gonna try to defend your guy, your hero. Um, Personally, my brother loves Deadpool. I don't get the fascination in Deadpool. It was a good movie. I don't think it was as great as everybody thought it made it out to be. Just because they pushed the R rating and he said some cuss words and they had a sex scene and stuff like that. A mature comic, yes, but Deadpool to me is really fucking stupid, actually. But that's another story. But my brother will defend Deadpool. I defend Superman. I don't think Superman has gotten a fair shot. Now, I like the Man of Steel. Man of Steel to me was a good movie. Did it have its problems? Yes, it did. I went over that a couple years ago when I did my review of it. But so did the Christopher Reeve movies. So did the George Reeve television series. I don't think there's been a Superman yet. Granted, besides maybe the animated series, that has never had a problem. Every comic book movie has had problems. There has never been one comic book movie that has stood out to me and then, oh, they got everything correct. I mean, the story's correct, the character's correct. I personally feel Man of Steel was excellent, but it did have its problems. Batman v Superman, the extended version, is a lot better than what was released in theaters. And I do like Batman v Superman. I thought it was good. I think it was a little. It lied. It was not really Batman versus Superman. It was more of a, okay, this is Batman and Superman, and they are going to fight in the movie, but this is more of them coming together. This is basically us building up to Justice League. And I have said and gone on record and said this many a time that I think Warner Brothers is so eager, so crazy that they want to catch Marvel, they're not stopping to think that they can't. Okay? Marvel has already established their universe. They've established their characters through several different movies. I mean, like, we're on Captain America 3 now, and Iron Man 3, and Thor's got a third movie coming out. You cannot do it, Warner Brothers. Zack Snyder, whoever's watching, you cannot catch them, okay? You might as well just put that out. They have set it up perfectly. They have had their hits and misses. Not all their movies have been great. I mean, anyone who's going to sit there and tell me that Thor: The Dark World was an excellent movie, you're a fucking liar. That movie sucks, okay? Thor, his movies suck. The only thing that I like Thor in is the Avengers, because when he's in a standalone movie, it's not good. Even the first Thor was kind of okay. Iron Man's the same way. Iron Man is good, The third one was okay. The second one was better than the first one. The first one was, yeah. Iron Man is one of those characters, he's better when he's with the Avengers. Captain America, the first Avenger, was okay. The Winter Soldier was great. And Civil War should have been just another Avengers movie. So, not picking on Marvel, because like I said, I like them both. And I just feel that everybody says, "Oh, Marvel's excellent. They've never had a bad movie." Yeah, they have had bad movies, okay? And not all their movies, to me, live up to what people said they are. Like, for instance, I know a lot of people, the Avengers Age of Ultron it's an awesome movie. It's one of the best superhero movies. It's not really that good, actually. It's not as good as the first Avengers, and it's kind of drawn out, and it's got its problems too. So, yes, Marvel is ahead, and they will always be ahead, but this does not mean the DC cannot eventually catch them. You just have to do it right. Okay, first of all, I'm going to give you my reasons why I feel DC should start over, that Warner Brothers should start over. With the exception, I'm not changing actors, okay? Just because you restart Superman or you restart Batman does not mean we need to find a new guy to play Superman and a new guy to play Batman. Okay, I think that's one of the main problems with superhero movies today is too many different actors portraying these characters. All right, like for instance, Superman Returns was not a great movie. It wasn't, but Brandon Routh was a good Superman. He played a good Superman, with the exception of that god-awful costume that Bryan Singer chose. But that's another subject. I've already been over that before. But he played a great Superman. I personally feel that he should have been given another chance to play Superman again. But, I'm not a director. I don't have the money to make my own movie, because if I did, goddamn, I would try to make the greatest superhero movie of all time. But that's another subject too. But I feel that he got cheated out of Superman. I feel that just because that one movie sucked, that, okay, we can't use him again. And I feel that Brandon Routh never got a real fair shot. Just like changing subject, a lot of people don't like the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. I did like it. I don't think it's better than the original one, but, you cannot top Robert Englund. But Jackie Earle Haley tried, brought a new thing to Freddy. I liked what he brought. And if they do a sequel or they try again, I really think Jackie Earle Haley should be brought back as Freddy Krueger again, because it worked. Not the face that they came up with him, where he looked like one of those Natari things from Avatar, but his characteristic worked, okay? I'll give you another perfect example. No one thought Jack Nicholson would be topped as the Joker. And then when they announced that Heath Ledger would play the Joker in The Dark Knight, I remember reading the comments and hearing people, my friends were talking shit. Even I was a little skeptical, like, are you serious? This guy's going to play the Joker? And what happened? He made the movie. He died, of course, but people went and saw the movie, and now Heath Ledger is by far probably characterized as the best Joker that has been on screen. And he earned it because he gave a hell of a performance. But that's because people didn't think he could do it, and he went in and killed it. Just like a lot of people were talking shit about Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad. And granted, we don't get a lot of him in the Suicide Squad, but what we do get, I do like the direction that Jared Leto's taking the character. So I hope that whatever happens with DC, Jared Leto at least does get to try again as the Joker, because I do like his take. I don't like the gangster version with the bling bling all over him. I don't really care for all the tattoos, but that aside, he did make an interesting Joker, and I'd like to see more of him. So, personally, my first thing, if Warner Brothers decides that that's it, they've struck out, it is not too late to start over, okay? You have not released Justice League yet. You do have Wonder Woman coming out, and I feel that that's already wrapped, basically, and bring it out. Because I'm looking forward to the Wonder Woman movie. Because I liked her in Dawn of Justice. She was one of my favorite characters in that movie, even though it was just a cameo, basically. But I like her character. So I feel that don't scrap that film. Bring that one out. Justice League is a different story. I liked what we got from the San Diego Comic-Con trailer or footage they showed. I liked it. Now, one thing I will say that I don't like, and this is me personally, I don't know how everybody else feels, but me personally, I don't like that DC feels that to get the fans on their side, they have to go the Marvel route. And we have to add comedy, we have to lighten everything up. No, you don't have to do that, okay? First of all, my problem that I had with the Man of Steel was Superman is not a dark character, okay? He's not always walking around broody. He does not always have a frown on his face, and he doesn't always look pissed off at the world. He is a guy who saves cats out of trees, stops planes from falling out of the sky. You know, he puts out fires in buildings, and he fights bad guys. You know, Superman saves people. He is supposed to be a lighter character. That does not mean comedy. That just means not as dark toned as like Batman. So I don't feel DC and Warner Brothers need to make all their movies comical now just to please the fans. Okay, first of all, let's go ahead and get another thing out. You cannot please all the fans, okay? You can't. Because if you do that, you're going to piss off the people that did like the dark and broody. The Spawn fans, you know, the Image fans, the violent fans. If you go back to being the dark way, you're going to piss off the people that wanted it more lighthearted and kid-friendly, you know? So you can't win that war. Even Marvel can't win that war. Now, their stuff they're doing, it's working, but it's even getting to the point where it's starting to get a little, okay, this is kind of childish. You can't win this war. So my personal opinion is don't worry about what they say, and don't worry about what they say. Do your thing. See, I think the problem with today is that everybody's trying to please that person and please that person. Oh, we don't want to offend that person. And they don't worry about what they should be worried about. Just do your thing and don't worry about everybody else. Zack Snyder. As much as I hate to say this because I really think that he does have some good ideas, it is time to release Zack Snyder. If there is going to be a restart in the DC universe, get rid of Zack Snyder because he has already shown he can't do it. He cannot do it. He is too big on action and he does not tell story. And when he does try to tell story, he's all over the place. So it's time to get rid of him. Okay? Just get somebody else. He's done. So, with that being said, my personal opinion is before DC gets too far in the hole, because true, they have not lost a lot of money yet, but it's coming. We know it's coming. Start over. Do it right. Okay, first off, you want to introduce a new Batman? Cool. Ben Affleck's Batman is perfect. You do not need a new guy to play Batman. You do not need a new Alfred. Keep who you have for these characters, but get a new a new writer, a new director. Give them a solo movie. Let's redo Batman. Not a new guy playing him. Ben Affleck is perfect, and let's keep the current way Batman is, but let's just get, you know, in other words, Ben Affleck's got the solo Batman film coming out. All right, cool, let's do it. That one should be fine. I'm not worried about that because Ben Affleck proved in Dawn of Justice and in Suicide Squad with the quick cameo he had that he is got the Batman down. Let's keep him. I think Batman's fine. Okay? We don't need to drown the DC universe with Batman, though. I don't think every movie in the DC universe needs Batman in it just to be great. I know that's what everybody wants is, it's got to have Batman. It's got to have something to do with Batman. Batman. No, we don't need that, okay? The reason we don't need that is because he's such an established character now that we need to see if the DC Universe can survive on its own without Batman being in it. Okay? And it doesn't mean we need to throw Superman into it either, but at the same time, this is the guy who is supposed to be the cornerstone for DC. And he hasn't had his fair shot yet. Batman has had his time, and now it's time to see if Superman can get his. Henry Cavill is a good Superman. Do not recast. We do not need a new Superman. Henry Cavill is perfect. Let him stay as Superman, but start over. Okay? The Man of Steel is if you want to keep it going after that, that's fine. But let's follow after Man of Steel. But see, here's the thing that sucks already. You killed Superman in Dawn of Justice. I don't think that can be fixed. And what scares me is, well, they've already shown that you know he's on the poster, he's in the picture with the Justice League. It means you're going to rush his return. His return should make a movie of its own. If Man of Steel 2 is coming out, if that's what's going out, I would base that on the return of Superman. I think you killed him too quick, and now you're going to suffer for it because that's the biggest climax that you had to look forward to. You already wasted it. So, I don't know. See, and here's the thing. If they scrap all their plans, if they say, this just ain't working, we're done with this, can they still keep the same actors, bring them back again, but tell a different story, try again, but with the same actors? That's what scares me because I feel we have the right people playing the parts. We just don't have the right directors, and we don't have the right motivation. We don't have the right story. But the right people were chose to play these parts. That's what frustrates me. I don't want a new Batman. I don't want a new Superman. I'm happy with the guys we got. I'm just not happy in the direction the story went, and I'm not happy where it looks like it's going. So I said, Zack Snyder, he showed what he's got. He just ain't cutting it. It's time to get somebody else. Let him go. We need solo movies. Do you know why the Avengers has done so well? Why Marvel is ahead, why they keep going forward, and why they're able to bring in all these new characters? Because they're doing it the right way. They made an Iron Man movie first, then a Thor movie, then a Captain America, and then they had that terrible Hulk movie, but then they did the Incredible Hulk, and they had Black Widow make her first appearance in Iron Man 2. True, it's not a solo movie, but she was introduced as a side character. People got to know who she was, and then all of it came together in Avengers. And that's what DC needs to do. They've shown Superman. They've done Batman. They have Wonder Woman coming out. But they've already shown that Aquaman's coming, and The Flash, and Cyborg. And see, to a fan like me who grew up in the 80s, the 80s and the 90s, I know who these people are. To the average person who doesn't know much about comic books, they don't know who these people are. I've already heard people, we've talked at work, and some people, oh yeah, the Flash is going to be in Justice League. Grant Gustin, yeah. No, that's the TV Flash. Well, who's playing him in the movie? And I can't remember the guy's name, but I told them, they're like, well, wait a minute, how is there this guy playing him in the movie, but then on TV I try to tell them, this is television, this is how the movie's going to be. See, you've already messed up, you're already throwing people off because not everybody knows about comic books. Your average person today doesn't sit around and read them anymore. So they don't know these characters. They don't know backstories. They don't know who Captain Boomerang is, and they don't know who the Enchantress is. And you're just going on, hey, I hope this movie does good, and I hope they like these characters. See, wrong take. But you can introduce them in the right way. And the cameos that you had introducing these guys in Dawn of Justice was the wrong take. Okay? You've already gone over people's heads, especially with the whole Batman, future apocalypse thing and the Flash coming back in time to talk to him. You way over people's heads. All right, you already people were so like, whoa, wait, what? See, but to a guy like me who knows the story of Injustice, I was like, oh yeah, I'm on board. I see where this is going. But now, as I stop to think about it, I see where it's going. I don't know if I want it to go there though, because they can't afford too many more bad. They just can't. They get any more bad movies, and people are just going to be like, DC, I'm not wasting my time. And I don't want that. I want there to be a good DCU extended universe, just like the Marvel has built. I think DC can do it. They're just rushing, and they need to stop, look back at what they've done, and say, where can we fix what we've done, and how can we fix it for the future? Or should they just go, we tried, it didn't work, let's start over, get new writers, new directors, bring the cast back, and I think the fans will forgive you. I think deep down, they all want this. They all want DC to go, they want a successful Superman movie. They want a successful Batman, you know? And personally, in my opinion, as much as I like Ben Affleck, and I think he's the best Batman so far on screen, the smartest thing they should have done, Christopher Nolan fucked this up, and I know I'm going to get hate over this one, but the Nolan Batmans, as good as they were, problem after problem with those, and the ending screwed up the DC universe. Man of Steel was set in the Dark Knight world. It was. It wasn't Batman supposed to fit into the Superman universe. It was Superman was supposed to fit into the Dark Knight universe. That's why it was so dark for Man of Steel, because they were saying, okay, he's got to fit into this world, not the other way around. See, because Christopher Nolan ended the Dark Knight trilogy and Batman quit and all this, they had to start over. Christian Bale should have continued as Batman, and I feel that if that had happened and the Man of Steel movie came out and then Christian Bale's Batman came back and these two met up that way, it would have worked a lot better. With no offense to Ben Affleck's Batman, because he still works, but not as good as it had been if it had been the Dark Knight Batman coming back and teaming up with the new Superman, because then Superman would have had to fit into what was already established. And I feel that's where they messed up, is they ended Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy, and it fucked up Superman, and they basically had to start over, reintroduce Batman because of what Nolan did, and that's what started the whole downfall of the DC universe. And this is a long video, I know, but this is just stuff that's been on my mind. So this is stuff I have to say. I have to get it out. Because I've heard a lot of people who are bitching about Suicide Squad. And here's the thing. The people that are bitching about the movie are the ones that, if you go back and look at their reviews of the Dawn of Justice, oh, well, this is too dark and this needs to be lightened up and they needed to add a little more comedy to it. Well, they listened to you and they did that on Suicide Squad, and people are still bitching about it. Like, now it's too light and it's all over the place. And that's where I say you can't please anybody. You can't please everybody. Stop trying. You know? Just try to make a good movie. To me, these movies are not terrible. Batman v Superman was not great, but it was not the worst movie of all time, all right? And for all these people to come out and criticize it, oh, it was just god-awful, it's the worst superhero movie ever. If you actually stop and watch it and stop bitching about it and just watch it and go, oh, okay, I can see where they're going with it, especially the extended cut. You know, that's the thing. See, I feel there's a lot of people who are just Marvel fanboys. Just Marvel fanboys. And anything that is not Marvel, they destroy it. They go out of their way to just rag on it. And personally, I don't understand why people can't just be like me, and I like them both. I like Spawn, which is an Image comic, and the Max, and Youngbloods and stuff like that. And I like comic book movies, period. And I feel this is the best time to be a comic book fan. We are getting these movies that back in the early 90s you never would have got. Now we're getting these. And I have to be dead honest, as much as I like the Marvel movies, I feel they're drowning the superhero genre because they're coming out with so many, and theirs are doing so good that they're just crucifying everybody else who even attempts. And I feel DC has so many good stories, so many characters that they could bring on screen. They just need a fair shot. Now, true, they have made a lot of movies that to some critics and some fans are flops. To me, they're not flops. They're just not what I was expecting, and they could do so much better. It's not too late. If they stop, go back and say, this is what we messed up, we can fix this, they still have a chance. Justice League has a chance if they don't fuck it up. But if they just go for action and, we're just going to throw this guy in it, and this guy in it, and this guy in it, we're going to throw Superman in it, we're just going to bring him back all of a sudden, you're going to fuck it up. All right? You're going to. It's inevitable. It's like watching a bomb and just counting down the seconds you have left until it explodes. And I'm praying that you can defuse it in time, but the way it's heading, it's going to be a train wreck. It's like watching two trains that are on the same track. Now, you have time to pull the lever, and the one you can divert, but the way it's heading, it's going to be a bad wreck. So anyway, guys, just saying, time to get rid of Zack Snyder and get somebody else. It's time to rewrite the stories, try again. We don't need an origin story for Batman and Superman because anyone who even knows of Superman and Batman already knows their origin, and we don't need to waste time with that. But we need solo films for Aquaman, and we need a Flash solo film, and a Wonder Woman. We're getting the Wonder Woman one. Cyborg, I don't know if I don't know if you can make a solo film based on just that character, but we need something to it. We don't need Justice League right now, in my opinion. We need to build the characters first, establish the universe, then do like Marvel did and bring them all together. But it's all about that fucking almighty dollar. The studio doesn't care about good stories. All they want is they want the rights to these characters. They want the money. That's all they care about because they know whether the movie's bad or not, you're going to go see it regardless. I'm going to go see it regardless. I will tell you flat out that that's exactly what they're thinking. Now, true, you may have some people on the crew that care about the movie and they care about the writers and they, we want to tell this story. I grew up reading this. I want to see this on screen. You may have those kind of fans working for the studio, but they're not writing it. You know why? Because DC won't let them. Because Warner Brothers won't let them. We can't get the actual fans telling our stories. We can't get them directing the movies. Instead, they put... I've lost faith in Zack Snyder. I really have. I can't believe I'm saying that. I really can't. Because I love Sucker Punch, man. But he has proven he can do action shots. And he can do action sequences. He cannot tell a story. And he just throws shit in there. He doesn't care if it makes sense. Doomsday was, even though I did like the fight, and I do think he was okay looking, wasted potential. He should not have been in this universe yet, and they should not have killed Superman. Not yet. He only had one movie, and you killed him off already. Now, what's the punchline later on? Where's your payoff later? You can't do the death of Superman because you just did it. I'm praying to God that the return of Superman, that may be the Man of Steel 2, because But it can't be because he's already shown in Justice League. They've already shown that Henry Cavill is going to be Superman's going to be in Justice League. So unless they do in Wonder Woman at the end they show Superman come back or they can't because Wonder Woman comes out and then Justice League. So does this mean Justice League is going to be Steppenwolf versus the Justice League and Superman comes back at the end, which makes no fucking sense, That's the thing. I feel they're shitting on Superman. They really are. He's not a brooding character. He saves people. And please, Warner Brothers, one thing I forgot to mention. Jesus Christ is God's Son, who died on the cross for our sins, and if you believe in his name, you will have eternal life with him in paradise forever, okay? I'm not a devout Christian, but I do believe that. Superman is not my fucking savior, okay? He did not die on the cross. He is not a god. He's not going to save me so I can go to heaven. So in your movie, stop depicting him as a Jesus character because Superman is a superhero who saves people, but he is not. I'm so sick of that crap. They didn't have that in the Christopher Reeve movies or the George Reeve television show. And the animated series didn't do that. So why all of a sudden do you have him doing this all the time? The floating in space and stuff like that. And the one begotten son. Stop that bullshit. Because I think that's another thing that's turning people away from the Superman character in this new DC universe is they get tired of that crap. All right? He's being attacked by Christians because, he's a bad influence, no, screw that. He's not Jesus Christ. He has nothing to do with that whole storyline. You need to get him away from that. Superman is from another world. He's on Earth. Yes, he has powers and he saves people, but he is not worshipped. He doesn't have churches built to him, and he's not Christ. So stop this bullshit right here, all right? You pissed me off in Man of Steel because there were so many references on that, and I was like, oh my, stop it. He is just a superhero, not the Son of God. Stop that crap. All right, guys, well, that's my rant and my ideas for fixing the DC Extended Universe. Fire Zack Snyder, keep the same actors, let's start over story-wise, and if we can't start over, if it's too late to start over, can we fix it? Is it able to be fixed before it's fucked up? Would anyone really be upset if they came out and said, we watched this video by autobotjohn, and he's right, we have decided as a studio that we are going to postpone Justice League and bring out separate movies introducing these characters first. Then once this universe is established, we'll bring them all together for Justice League. Would anybody really be opposed to that? So we have to wait a few more years. Is it going to kill you? To me, it'd be something to look forward to because then I know when I go to the theaters and see it, whether it sucks or not, at least it's done right and not a rush job to collect money. All right, guys. Leave me your comments below. Let me know what you think. Later.